Good morning everyone and welcome to online classes of data structure. So in the previous class we studied about the DQ. DQ means what? Here we have the operations like insertions at both ends and deletion at the both ends. So I can insert from the front as well as I can insert from the rear. In the same way I can delete from the front and as well as I can delete from the rear. That is what the double queue, that is double-ended queue. So that is also specially called as DQ. So today we will check about what is circular queue. So before going for the circular queue, let me talk about what is the disadvantage of the queue that makes me to go for the circular queue or other different types of queues. Okay. So we know that queue is a data structure where elements are inserted from one end and the elements are deleted from the other end. Okay. Now let us see what might be the advantage that when I implement the normal queue with an array, what disadvantage make me to go for the other different types of the normal queue, that is the queue. Okay. So I hope you are seeing the figure on the screen. So this is the situation when I have inserted 5 elements, say 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50, and then I will delete the first 2 items, that is 10 and 20. Okay, I hope you are seeing the screen. Okay, for suppose let me go for the pointer options, laser pointer. So I inserted 10, 20, 30, 40 and 50 and I deleted 10 and 20 from the 0th index as well as the first index. So that is what I have done. Now F is pointing to the index location number 2 and R is pointing to the index number 4. Now if R is at the place, that is q size minus 1, then it means what? It is at the maximum size, so I can't insert furthermore, it will show overflow. Okay. Next, so in our function insert at the rear, if I try for inserting more items, then it is compared with the q size minus 1 and then it will show overflow. Okay. Then so it means what? Insertion is not possible. So you can also note that rear insertion is denied as the q, that is R pointer is marking at the q size minus 1. Thus even if free memory is available at the front, that is 0 and 1, we can't go for insertions, as because from the front we can only delete in the normal queue. Okay, so this disadvantage can be overcome by moving the item at the front end of the queue and very first location of the queue, and then shifting the remaining elements from the second location onwards. So this shifting process is very costliest thing, what in the terms of, if I say like computer time as a resource or else the memory space as a resource, so then again it will take more data space to store the a very large amount of data, that is shifting from one index value to the another index value. So this method is not recommended. So always whenever we do write a program, we always try to go for the better performance. Okay. So when a program is there which is the worst, like it is utilizing more number of resources, then we need to avoid using such type of programs, as it is not giving good performance. So this disadvantage can be overcome by the circular queue. This disadvantage can be overcome by the circular queue. So let us see what is circular queue. So circular queue is defined as the elements in circular queue, the elements of the given queue can be stored efficiently in an array. So we are implementing the circular queue with an array so that we can make it something like, imagine like a wrap around in the sense in the form of a circle, so that the end of the queue is followed by the front of the queue. Don't worry guys, the pictorial representation of the circular queue is given the next slide. So this is the circular queue what you are observing on the screen. So in the figure A, at the left side I have shown the circular queue diagram. So the front end and the rear end are at the same position. It means what? It is wrapped up. It is wrapped up. Similarly, I have shown it by implementing in the array form. So f and r are marking at the same index location 0. Okay. So initially, before this 10 is inserted in the circular queue, or else that is shown in the form of array. So earlier my queue was what? Empty. So it means what might be the values of f and r. So f is equal to 0 and r is equal to minus 1. F is equal to 0 and r is equal to minus 1. Okay. Next. So here this circular representation allows the entry array to store the elements without shifting any data within the queue. That is what the advantage in the circular queue that will overcome for the normal queue. So this efficient way of implementing a circular queue is done by the arrays. So now as I said earlier, assume that the circular queue contains only one item, that is what is shown in the figure, that is 10, that is in the figure A. So note that the value of f and r is 0. Okay, we know that the item is inserted only at the rear end, and so before inserting the value of r, it should be minus 1. That is what default. So initially it will be at the default position, that is at the empty stack. So f is equal to 0 and r is equal to minus 1. So next, the configuration shown in the figure B, like what you are seeing in the figure B. So here this is obtained after inserting some more elements like 20 and 30. To insert an item, what I can do, I can just go for incrementing the r first. I need to go for incrementing the r first. So it means what? R was at the position 0 when I inserted 10, then r is equal to r plus 1. I will get one more empty location so that I can insert 20, then r is equal to r plus 1, then I will get an empty location, so I can insert 30. So every time once I want to insert any element at the rear end, so I need to increment the r. So suppose if I want to go for inserting 40 here at the third index value, then I need to increment the r, that is r is equal to r plus 1, then I will get an empty location pointed by q of r. So here I can insert an item, that is 40. Okay, right. So here this can be represented by two statements. Here this can be represented by the two statements, that is r is equal to r plus 1 or r is equal to r plus 1 modulus q size. R is equal to r plus 1 modulus q size. So here out of these, the second way of incrementing the r, that is r is equal to r plus 1 modulus q size, is recommended. Why this is recommended? Let us discuss more about it. Okay. So here, as accordingly we saw previously here in this slide, so both the statements will increment r by 1, but we prefer the second statement. So that is what. Okay. So let us consider another situation like what you can observe in the figure number C here. So next I am going to insert 40 and 50 in the queue, in the circular queue. So that is what you are observing. R is at the index value 4, and f is at the index value 0. That is what you can see. F is at the index value 0 and r is at the index value 4. Okay. Now note that at this point the queue is full. Obviously, according by the picture on the screen also, you can assume that the queue is full. Suppose we delete two items, that is 10 and 20. Now I am going to delete this 10 and 20 now here from here. So I am going to delete it. So it will be something what I can get after deleting 10 and 20. I will get the figure like this. So like that is 0th position will be deleted with the 10, and the first index value 20 will be deleted. So these two become empty. Now f is marking at number 2. That is what, every time once I delete, so I need to increment the f, that is f is equal to f plus 1. That is what, common thing that we already studied in the normal queue. Okay. Now try to insert an item 60 now. Okay, try to insert an item 60 now. Now I want to insert an item 60. Since this is a circular queue, the front end and rear end are connected as according to the definition. So if I want to insert 60, then I will go for r is equal to r plus 1. So r is equal to, let me go take the first statement, that is r is equal to r plus 1. So if I go for r is equal to r plus 1, you can now see r is marking at the value 4. So if I increment with plus 1, it will go for the value 5. But is that any index available 5? No. So if I use to increment r whenever I am inserting an item, then this statement may lead for the error. It may point to the index value which is neither there available in the queue. Neither there available in the queue. Suppose if we take the second incrementation way, that is r is equal to r plus 1 modulus queue size. So what is the queue size? Queue size is obviously the highest value of the queue, highest value, index value of the queue, that is now it is 5. Now it is 5. Now so here queue size is taken as that is now it is taken as 4. So if it is like queue size minus 1, it will be 5. Okay, I hope you understood what I am telling. So now it is 4. Suppose if I do want to insert, now 60. So 60 means what? R is equal to r plus 1. So it will be pointing at 5. It will be pointing at 5. What is the queue size? It is the 5. So 5 modulus 5. What will be the answer? What will be the answer? It will be 0. It will be 0. Modulus operation will represent what? It will represent the actually the remainder. So remainder will be 0. So 0 means what? R is pointing at the 0th index. So it will go back to the 0th index. So there I can insert 60. I hope you understood why I am going for the second way of representing the incrementation, that is r is equal to r plus 1 modulus queue size. So further in the program or in any of the function, if this statement repeats, please try to understand what I explained now. Okay, try to remember what I explained now. Okay, right. So I hope you understood about how we do consider the queue. So further what I will do, to keep track of each insertions or deletions, I will take one special variable here called as count. I will take one special variable called as count. Now here it contains the number of items of in the queue at any instant. So either if I am deleting or else I am inserting, at any instant how many numbers are there available, that all count will be maintained. Okay, so as an item is inserted, increment the count by 1. If an item is deleted, then decrement the count by 1. That is what normal operation what we will do. So if the queue is empty, then obviously count will be 0, or queue is full, the count will be of the size queue size, that is the size of the queue. Okay, so this is what we do consider here count. Next, what are the operations of the queue? So circular queue. So the various operations that can be performed on the circular queue are: first one, insert at the rear, delete from the front, and display. These are all the normal operations what we already did on the normal queue. But since there is a difference between the normal queue and the circular queue, so difference is that in the circular queue the rear end is next continuing with the front end of the queue. Okay, that wraps up the or wraps around, so that it will be depicted as a circular object. Okay, now let us concentrate on the insert at the rear. I hope you remember, whenever I go for insertion, first I will check whether queue is full or not. So the first step in insertion at the rear is what? To check whether queue is overflow. So for this I told I will use the variable count, so it will keep track of all the number of items whatever are available according to the size of the object, size of the queue. So here first I will check the overflow condition. If count is equal to queue size, if count is equal to queue size, then already there are elements available and it is full. So that's why I will print the statement queue is full, queue is full, or else you can write it as queue is overflow, something like that. Step number 2, if the condition fails, if count is not equal to it is not equal to the queue size, then second step is what? Insert an item. So before inserting an item, first I will go for incrementing the r, okay, that is what, and then modulus operation of queue size will be applied. So this second recommended statement of incrementation of the r is considered. So once I do pre-incrementation of the r, then at the position where r is marked, that is at the queue of r, I will get an empty space, there I will insert an item. Okay. Third step is what? As and all how I insert an item, I should update the count value, the count variable value, that is count is equal to count plus 1, count is equal to count plus 1. So let me repeat back the operation, that is insert at the rear. Insert at the rear in the sense what? I am going to insert at the backside of the queue, that is at the rear end, with the r as the pointer. So before insertion at the rear end, first I need to check whether queue is full or any space is available. So for that I am going to use the variable count, that I will check for accessing the number of values in the queue. So if count is equal to queue size, that is what? Queue is full. So once this step 1 is done, or if it is valid, then it means what? Already items are there available, I can't insert any more items. So if this condition fails, then I will go for the step number 2. So while inserting any item, first I will go for pre-incrementation of the r. So I will go for the second way of incrementing the r, that is using the modulus operation. Okay. So once I mark the r, once I increment the r, then queue of r will be marking at the empty location wherein I can insert an item. Okay. So once this step 2 is done, immediately go for the step number 3, that is update the variable count. So as and all, if I insert, I will update the count value, that is count is equal to count plus 1. Then if at all I will delete an item, then I will decrement the count value as count is equal to count minus 1. That we will experience in the time of once we study about the delete at the front. Okay. So this is what the function for insert at the rear. So the parameters what I am using are the item that is to be inserted into the queue, that is a queue, then I need the rear end as well as the count value. So rear end is required to insert at the rear, that is what the r pointer is required, and count will maintain the number of counts, how many elements I am inserting. So as accordingly there are 3 steps for insert at the rear. So first step is what? Check overflow. How do I check it? So if I have observed that count is equal to the queue size, then it means what? There is no any empty space available to insert more number of items within the queue, then I will display overflow of the queue. Suppose this condition fails, then I will go for pre-incrementation of the r, using the second way of representation using the modulus operation. So once that is been incremented, then r will be, queue of r will be marking at the empty location where I can insert the item. So once item is inserted, then I will go for updating the count value, that is count is equal to count plus 1. So count plus is equal to 1 means what? Count is equal to count plus 1. This means, okay, right. Now we just now we saw about the insert at the rear end. Now let us see about the delete from the front end. So so whenever I go for delete operation, first I need to check whether any content is available in the queue or not. So if the elements are there available in the queue, better I will delete, then it will delete the content. So suppose if no elements are available, how can I delete? That's why the first thing what I go, that is the first step what I do, that is in this operation, is to check the underflow. How do I check it? If count points to 0. If count points to 0 means what? It means what? Q is empty. If count points to Q size, then it means what? Q is full. If count size to 0, count points to the count variable points to 0, it means Q is empty. So I will just display the output like Q is empty. It means like I can't delete any item. Suppose this condition fails. If this condition fails, then next what I will do in the step 2, first I will print the item, that is first I will access the item that is going to be deleted. Then what I will do, I will just increment the F, again using the second way of incrementation that we did with the rear end. So here also I will use the modulus operation. I hope you remember why modulus operation is utilized. Okay, so then I will increment the F is equal to F plus 1, then that empty, that previous pointer where first point front end was marking, it will be released, it will be made free, and then the item is deleted. So once I do either delete or either go for either insertion, then I need to go for updating the count value. So that is what I am doing, count is equal to count plus 1. Okay, right. So here is the function that is meant for deleting from the end. So here delete from the front end. Okay, so here I will delete an item within the queue, marking with the front pointer and updating the count value. Okay, so if I do missing anything here, I hope okay, nothing, right. So as usual I will go for the first case of first step of checking, that is Q underflow or not. So I will check if count points to the 0, then it is underflow. So if count points to Q size, it means it is overflow. So here since I am deleting from the front end, I should have at least one element. So suppose if count points to 0, it means nothing is there available in the queue, I can't delete. Okay, so if this condition fails, then first I will mark the element that is going to be deleted, and then later on I will increment the F value using the second way of incrementation, that is using the modulus operation. So once it is done, then I will go for updating the count, that is count is equal to count minus 1. I hope here in the previous slide I need to denote it as count is equal to count minus 1. That is what I got confused. So here anyhow I updated in the function, that is count is equal to count minus 1. So always remember, whenever you are either going for writing the same function as it what your teacher is telling you, please do re-verify, because as I did the mistake now, maybe it happens with you also. Okay, so it should be what? Count is equal to count minus 1. So as if what I did here in the function. So this was the function for deleting from the front end. So last function that is what available in the circular queue is display. So before I go for display, I will first check whether any content is available. So if nothing of the elements are available in the queue, then what is the use of displaying the contents? So I need to show some what is that meaningful output, that is queue is empty. So that is what I am going to check first. If count is equal to 0, then nothing, no elements are available in the queue, then I can't display. Okay, suppose if condition does not satisfies, then I will go for as usual normal how I used to display the array contents. I will use the for loop. So but here what is the way of getting the number of iterations? So that is how can I limit the iterations? So I will start with the index value 1 up till the maximum count value. So the count value will be what? Up till the queue size. Okay, right. So each iteration will be incremented. I is good, that is I plus plus. So I need to display. So I need to display means what? Display will start from the front end only. that is at the index value 1. So index value 1 will be what? The front end. So okay, so first I will display the content, then I will increment f is equal to f plus 1 with the modulus operation. So it will go for f plus 1 means that is a 2, then it will display the second index value, then again f plus 1 it will go for 3, then it will display the third index value. Like this it will repeat, okay, right. So here is the function for displaying the content. So first I will check for queue underflow, then later on if that does not satisfy, then I will print the content of the queue, okay, right. So let us go back quickly to my C++, that is Turbo C++ software, and just check out how can I implement the how can I write a C program to implement the circular queue. Okay, let me shift myself to the Turbo C++. So here I already pre-written the code to just avoid the time taken or consumed for typing. So here I included all the required header files, that is helping me as a library files to implement my functions. So here specially I have used the define preprocessor statement to define the queue size, that is 5. So anyhow, if I use a define preprocessor statement, it means what? I am defining some variable that is taken as a global variable. So here queue size is the variable and its value is 5. Okay, then first thing, insert at the rear. So in the insert at the rear, what parameters I am using? So anyhow I am going to insert an item, so I will take an variable called as item, then this item will be inserted in a queue, so I will take one array queue. Then whenever I am inserting an item, so I will insert at the rear end, so I need the rear end pointer. Then I need to update each time once I insert, I need to update the count value, so I am taking count as a parameter also. Okay, right. So I hope you remember, if I go for insert at the rear, there are 3 steps. First step is what? Check the overflow. So to check the overflow, I make comparison between the count. So if count is equal to queue size, it means what it is at the last index value of the queue, then there is no more element available to insert. So already the queue is overflow, so I will just print the statement, meaningful statement, that is queue overflow. I can't insert more. Suppose this condition does not hold, then I will first go for pre-incrementation of the R using the modulus operation, pre-incrementation of the rear pointer using the modulus operation, that is the second way of incrementing the R. So once I increment, the R will be marking at the particular location within the queue, so there I am going to insert an item. So once I insert an item, I need to update the count value also. Please always do remember, in the circular queue I am taking one separate variable called as count that will keep on updating me about how many items are inserted or deleted. So keep on updating. If it is now insert at the rear, I am adding the content, so I need to update the count is equal to count plus 1. Okay, next, delete at the front. Next operation is what? Delete at the front. So here in the delete at the front, I am taking the variables like queue, from where I will delete. So since I am deleting from the front, I will take the front pointer, that is f. Then whenever I will delete or insert, I need the count variable also to update the count. So here as I hope you remember, in the delete front, the steps there are 3 steps. So first step is what? Check the underflow. So it means what? If count is marking at 0, it means what? Nothing is there available in the queue. So I will display the meaningful statement like queue is underflow of the queue, then I can't delete more items from it. So if this condition fails, then first I will mark up at the element what I am going to delete. I am going to delete, that is with the front pointer, as because I am deleting from the front. So queue of f will be displayed. So once I display, then later on I will go for incrementing the f pointer using the modulus operation. Okay, then Once I do that, then I will update the count. So since here I am deleting the content from the queue, it means what I am I am subtracting the content, I am removing the content. So count will be updated like count is equal to count minus 1. So when I am inserting, count will be updated as count is equal to count plus 1. Here you can see count is equal to count plus 1. So here I am deleting, so it is count is equal to count minus 1. Next, display the content of the array, that is display the content of the queue. So once before displaying the content of the queue, I need to check whether queue is empty. So if queue is empty, I can't display any content, so I will just print the statement like queue is empty, so I can't display anything. So for this, what I will do, I will check whether if count is equal to 0, if it means what nothing is there available in the queue, then queue is empty. Suppose if this condition fails, then it means what some of the contents are available. Then first, before displaying the content, I will just print a statement contents of the queue are, that is content of the queue is. So here I will use the for loop to display all the content of the array, that is of the queue. So its limit starts from the 1, that is the first index, and up till the number of count values, that number of count variable values. Okay, why? Because if count is equal to queue size, then obviously it will be having full elements. Okay, so sorry. So next, before I need to display the content of the queue. So here I am going to access the item each time once I display, that is from the front end. So it will start from the front end, as because I value starts from the 1. I hope you remember I value starts from the 1. So if it is the 1, then it is the front end. So I will first print the front end. So once one item is printed, then I will keep on updating the front end so that it will point to the next item using the modulus operation. So once this is done, then I will increment I is equal to I plus 1, so it will point to the next iteration, that is I is equal to 2. It will go for I is equal to 2, right? So in this way I will display all the content of the queue. Okay, what I did in the main function is I took an variable called as choice. So based on the various choice like either insertion, deletion or display, I am going to get the item to be executed. So here, since I either delete or insert an item, so I have taken a variable called as item. So front pointer is required, rear pointer is required, then the count variable is required, so that I can get the number of items available through the count variable. Then I am defining some queue size, that is normally 20. Okay, then next, so as to make the queue empty, so I need to reset the pointers of f, r and the count variable. So that is what I am doing. F is equal to 0, r is equal to minus 1 and count is equal to 0. These all three statements mean that is queue is empty. Okay, next I will go for starting the accepting the value. So first one is marked as a insert, second one is marked as a delete, then third one is marked as display, then fourth one is marked as exit. Okay, so based on the different choices like 1 2 3 4, I am going to switch. Okay, right. So case 1, so case 1 is for insert. So first, before inserting any element, I will ask for enter the item to be inserted, whatever of your interest. Then I will get an item from the keyboard, so I am using the scanf statement like this. Then I will use the insert rear function, whatever I wrote at the upper lines. So here what I am going to insert the item, then within the queue, and then at where it will be at the rear pointer, and once I insert, then I need to update the count. So that these all parameters I will pass. So so once the insertion is done, I will go for the break statement. It means what I will go for the next operation. So next operation, maybe I will choose for the delete. So if I choose for the delete, it will go for case 2. Directly I will go for calling the function delete front. So here the parameters that I passed are queue, then front, since it is deleting from the front, and then the count for updating. Third case, I am going to get a display. So display, I am going to display the content of the queue, then it will be accessed since from the first position, that is front end. So I will take the front pointer f, then the count. So each time I display, then count will be updated. right? So defaultly, if I don't use either of these, case 1, 2 or 3, if I go for a case 4, default it will exit out of the loop. So here I am using the getch function. I hope you remember getch function is used to get the display automatically once I execute my program. So let me execute my program. I will go for alt run, alt R and press enter. So here let me first display the queue. So queue is empty. So let me start inserting. Okay, right. So enter the item to be inserted. It is 12 now. Okay, now since insertion will be done at the rear end, so please always remember, now I inserted 12 at the rear end. Then next I will insert again. So what is the item that is going to be inserted? That is 13. So let me display the content of the queue. It is 12 and 13. Now deletion is going to be done at the front end. So if I go for option number 2, I hope you remember deletion at the front end means now at the front end my pointer is pointing at 12. So 12 will be deleted. That is what correct. So now if I display my only the queue element is circular queue element is that is 13. So let me insert some more items. I will go for insertion 14, then 15, then 16. So let me check how many elements I have inserted. So almost I inserted 13, 14, 15, 16, 4 elements. So I hope you remember queue size is 5. I can at most enter only 5 elements. So let me go for insertion of the next item. So I will insert 17. Now display the element. It is also already having 5 elements. Suppose if I go for insert operation and try to insert 18, it will tell queue overflow. I can't insert. Okay, right. Now deletion is done from the front. Deletion is done from the front. So now deletion is done from the front means what? At the front it is 13. So f value is 0. So now if I want to delete, I means I need to first increment the first I need to point the thing what I am going to delete, then I will increment the f, that is f is equal to f plus 1. So 0 to 1 it will move, that is f now f will mark at 14. So let me delete it. So f 13th item is deleted. So if I display, f will be marking at 14. So 14 was at the index what? It was at the index 1. So now at the front index value 0 is empty. Now I hope you remember the property of the circular queue. Circular queue is something what? I am going for insertion at the rear end, but here rear end and front end are attached to form a wrap up like a circular way. Okay, now if I do want to insert, then already my R is pointing at the queue size. Okay, R is pointing at the queue size, but I have an empty location at the 0th position. That is what in the normal queue I can't go for insertion. If I go for insertion at the rear, it will show error. Now here in the circular queue, since it is wrapped up, that is front and rear pointer are connected, so it means what? I will use the second way of adding up the content, that is incrementing the R, that is using the modulus. So if I do for R is equal to R plus 1 modulus the queue size, then it will be pointing up the 0th index. Okay, so it will be pointing up at the 0th index. Suppose if I do want to insert at the rear, then if I enter 18, so 18 will be inserted at the 0th index. Let me display the content. So 18th will be displayed at the 0th index. F will be now at 14 only. It is at the first index value. Okay, don't get confused. I hope you remember the pictorial representation what I did as earlier. Okay, so whenever I am doing explaining, please do concentrate and listen. Okay, right. So now let me delete all the items from the queue. So let me check for the queue underflow. So I deleted the item 18. Let me display the content. So queue is empty. Suppose if I go for more elements to be deleted, it will show like the message underflow of the queue. So I hope I checked all the cases like insertion and deletion. Then I went for the display of the content. Then let me exit my code. So I will press 4. It will come out of the code. So let me go to my presentation. So herein what we studied about a C program to implement the circular queue. Right guys, thanks. So I am going to wind up the session now. So I hope you remember I had given an assignment in the previous class, that is write a C program for implementing the double-ended queue, that is DQ, using global variables. I hope you have done. So please submit it as quick as possible, right? So today we will end the class here. So thank you guys for attending the class. Right, be safe at home, don't go outside unnecessarily. Take care, bye bye.